March 3, 2022. Support for H.R. 6600 bill to support stabilization, peace, and democracy efforts in Ethiopia. Honorable Representative Tom Malinowski, New Jersey. Honorable Representative Gregory Meeks, Chairperson of Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Representative Michael McCall, Ranking Member, Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Representative Young Kim, Asia Pacific Non-Proliferation. Dear Honorable Representatives, we sincerely wanted to express our gratitude for writing and endorsing H.R. 6600 bill to support stabilization, peace, and democracy efforts in Ethiopia to be enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress. We believe this bill greatly helped to save the life of innocent citizens from the gross violation of their internationally recognized rights, and it shall also keep the integrity of Ethiopia. We are working hard to push back the Ethiopian government's campaign against the bill driven by the No More movement, who are living in U.S. and some Western countries and play enabling genocide, taking a role hiding the truth. According to Amhara Association of America, AAA, compiled report, just in this month only government media reported the Oromo Liberation Army, OLA, killed over 168 innocent Amhara civilians. Between October 1 and January 30, 2021, there have been multiple massacres and over 200 innocent Amhara civilians killed, including women and children, and more than 20,000 displaced, and many have no place to stay. The mass killing is continued to date. Despite the effort to hide the genocide, No More movement led by Ethiopian government's cadres is failing back, because we are campaigning for the truth, so that the whole world and the Ethiopian people to see the truth and bring these facilitators and actors of genocide to justice. Also, we are currently campaigning to sign a petition to support the H.R. 6600 bill. Furthermore, this big demonstration held in front of State Department today, March 3, 2022, is to support the H.R. 6600 bill. We, the Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, are highly preparing to keep pushing back Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's false allegation campaigning against America through his foreign elites organizations all over the world. The truth will win because the majority of Ethiopian people do not know that with the help of Almighty God, President Biden's administration played a critical role to save Ethiopia's integrity. Again, we wanted to thank President Joe Biden's administration for the empirical witness that the United States government shows its unwavering support to Ethiopia, particularly the Ethiopian people. Right now, we have urgent, simple, attainable goals which is in alignment with H.R. 6600 bill. These are our strong needs requiring help. 1. War is destroying our country. H.R. 6600 supports our demand to stop the war in Ethiopia unconditionally and immediately by the UN and AU intervention. 2. Hunger, starvation, and the absence of basic medical care are at their climax, which is leading to the death of millions. H.R. 6600 supports our demand for emergency relief food assistance for all 7 million internally displaced people due to the ongoing war in the northern part of Ethiopia, man-made and natural disasters in the rest of Ethiopia. 3. H.R. 6600 will help us remove the apartheid system crafted and implemented in Ethiopia by TPLF and OLF, which is a cause for genocide, war crime, gang rape, crime against humanity, and human disappearance, and untold crimes on humanity in Ethiopia. H.R. 6600 demands Ethiopians to start the democratization process by the people to replace effective democracy system in Ethiopia through a national referendum for a new constitution under UN and AU observation. We Ethiopians have a new proposed constitution draft on hand that needs promulgate directly to the Ethiopian people, and its implementation, where the U.S. and the international community shall help us via UN and AU for police training for 14 provinces and 3 administrative districts, and equally pledged National Guards training from all provinces and 3 administrations. For, under the leadership of TPLF, Tigray People Liberation Front led by Debretsion Gebremichael, EPLF, the Eritrean government led by Isaias Afewerki, and OLF, the group that controlled the Ethiopian government led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and its Prosperity Party, genocide, war crime, gang rape, crime against humanity, and human disappearance are committed. H.R. 6600 shall help us investigate the accountable body in Ethiopia. 5. Establish a rehabilitation, relief food assistance, reinstatement and resettlement program for lasting and permanent solutions to those affected by crimes listed under number 3. Dear Honorable Representatives, Ethiopia stood for peace, justice, and equality in the world affair. On the reverse now, Ethiopia needs the support of the UN, AU, and especially the United States of America, as there will never come to exist a solid and reliable partner since the 1903 treaty. Also, Ethiopia shares many values with the United States in Korea, Congo, and fighting Al-Shabaab terrorist groups alongside America. Like Japan, Israel, South Korea, Ethiopia needs U.S. support, and we don't want to go back to Russia and China or not to be under the influence of Arab world as Ethiopian people. However, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is selling us to the Russia, China, and the Arab world to sustain himself in power. We ESSA are a coalition of citizens and different organizations who voiced again pointing to the U.S. government, UN, AU, and the international communities that the root cause of all these crimes in Ethiopia is Ethiopia did not have a legitimate constitution for the past 30 years. On the contrary, TPLF and OLF crafted a pseudo-constitution that embedded 9 hidden sovereign countries on Article 47 that wanted to come to existence after destroying sovereign Ethiopia. Again, thank you, Representative Tom Malinowski, Representative Michael McCall, Representative Young Kim, members of Congress, the United States government, House representatives and senators, and President Joe Biden, for working and advocating towards Ethiopian integrity that was historic undivided universal land of Ethiopia for 3,000 years. Therefore we, the Ethiopian Salvation and Survival Association, and our coalition request you to continue push this bill HR 6600 until the Ethiopian people get democracy and rule of law, and all internationally recognized human rights violators and criminals brought to justice. We will support this bill and pray for its success in the name of Almighty God. Background. The root cause of Ethiopian misery starts in 1991. In 1991, U.S. government helped the separatist forces EPLF/TPLF/OLF. Their alliance was brought to power even if OLF was pushed away due to tactical misalignment between TPLF and OLF. Finally, Ethiopia transferred to the two rebels, and the EPLF and TPLF team separated Eritrea from Ethiopia. As a result, EPLF ruled Eritrea while TPLF ruled Ethiopia for 27 years and transferred its place to Oromo Liberation Front, which Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has been ruling for the past 3 years. These three political groups, the Eritrean People's Front, the Tigray People's Front, and the Oromo Liberation Front, share the same strategic outcomes to create Republic, or the Republic of Eritrea, the Greater Republic of Tigray, and the Republic of Oromia, etc. Also, no Ethiopians understood their hidden agenda until they faced the horrors of apartheid in their sovereign country. Moreover, TPLF implemented their apartheid 1995 fraudulent, illegal, and pseudo-criminal constitution. They used their hidden manipulation agenda targeting Ethiopia to destroy a sovereign nation and a member state of the United Nations. The TPLF constitution fraudulently creates a new 9 confederate sovereign member states, which have the unconditional right to self-determination, including secession, to create their country. The outcome of the 1995 fraudulent and pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front create horrible apartheid in Ethiopia, especially eradicating Amhara and burn more than 30 Orthodox churches. That is a fact, and well-documented genocide already had been happened in the 21st century. How did TPLF and Oromo Liberation manipulate the Ethiopian people, UN, USA, and all international communities? The answer is straightforward, that is, by deep covering Article 47. TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front intrigued the Ethiopian people in 2 ways. 1. They wrote Article 47, using the Ethiopian national language Amharic, and Amharic alphabets translating to the Ethiopian people tricking as 9 ethnic-based regionals, or 9 kills. That is false because a simple meaning of state is a country. 2. The English version of Article 47, which registered to UN or ICCPR, shows the member states of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, and additionally, on Article 47 number 2, it says these countries have the right to establish, at any time, their own country. The lists of countries in 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front are as follows. 1. The country of Tigray. 2. The country of Afar. 3. The country of Amhara. 4. The country of Oromia. 5. The country of Somalia. 6. The country of Benshangul/Gumuz. 7. The country of the southern nations, nationalities, and peoples. 8. The country of the Gambella peoples. 9. The country of the Harari people. Excellencies. These all damages and millions of Ethiopian people displacements, death and misery are outcome of Tigray People Liberation Front, TPLF, and Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, faction rebels imposed 1995 transitional ethnocentric, defective, destructive, illegal, fraudulent and criminal constitution created ethnic divisions between Ethiopians. We want to share a little history about our constitutional journey with you because the Constitution is an integral part of one nation's life as we all are citizens of one country. Additionally, the Constitution's primary purpose is to hold the ultimate existence of the nation and its people because the Constitution serves as the country's backbone, and this is the key to national peace and harmony. Furthermore, the Constitution provides the basic legal framework for a democracy and the rule of law because it is essential to build a wave of peace, to create inclusive institutions in divided societies. Therefore, Ethiopia has had only 3 legitimate constitutions: the 1931 Constitution of Ethiopia, the 1955 Constitution of Ethiopia, and the 1987 Constitution of Ethiopia. However, the 1931 Constitution, Ethiopia's first written constitution in its 3,000-year history, was introduced the first written constitution by Father Emperor Haile Selassie as a contract between himself and the Ethiopian people. Finally, Emperor Haile Selassie revised the Ethiopian constitution. Also, he promulgated to the people through proclamation on November 4, 1955, to advance the Ethiopian government and citizens' lives toward the modern world. Our father, Imperial Haile Selassie, reformed Ethiopian national universal land with 14 administrative boundaries using a provincial model with no domestic territorial boundaries and integrate the diverse ethnic and religious communities to live together harmoniously without domestic border division in a sovereign nation. That means there is no Tigray land, Amhara land, Oromo land, Benshangul Gumuz land, the Southern People land, Gambella land, Somali land, Afar land, Shoa land, Harari land, and Sidama land in the sovereign state of Ethiopia because we Ethiopians still have had universal national land for 3,000 years together as a people. The Ethiopian history is not Yugoslavia or Russian because Ethiopia has always been one nation in the world for more than 3,000 years. United Nations history can witness its 3,000 years existence as one nation. Also, Emperor Haile Selassie comprised into 1955 constitution all the territories, including its ports and islands, territorial waters, under the sovereignty of Ethiopia, stating the territories of Ethiopia are indivisible and inalienable territories of sovereign Ethiopia, and the United Nations internationally recognized that up to now, since the admission of Ethiopia to the League of Nations in 1923. Also, the last legitimate constitution of Ethiopia filed to United Nations International Covenant on Civil and Political Right, ICCPR, archive exists for 34 years, is the only 1987 constitution. After that, there is no legitimate constitutional referendum has been done. Also, 1987 has inherited from 1955 all territorial integrity, 14 provinces of Ethiopia administrative boundary and universal national land of sovereign Ethiopia, just adding the most crucial part of the Constitution's preamble: we the working people of Ethiopia. Dear Excellencies, the Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association would like to emphasize to you, and the United Nations, our allies, including international communities, about the dangerous criminal of 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front secret their secession plan, and why the Ethiopian people are fighting tirelessly, and losing their precious lives without United Nations help. For 30 years, the Ethiopian people refused to accept, give consent, and ratify the current fraudulent 1995 transitional pseudo-constitution imposed on the Ethiopian people. Therefore, we Ethiopians are exhausting because we lost too many lives, especially the Ethiopian heroes, educators, engineers and doctors' lives, for example, Professor Asrat Woldeis, the famous Ethiopian surgeon, engineer Semigna Bekele, chief project manager of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam project, as well as 3 other similar dam projects in Ethiopia, the first to be assassinated in the center of Addis Ababa. Dr. Ambacha Mekonnen, an Ethiopian who served as the president of the Amhara Kilil or country, was assassinated by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed government associating it with a fake coup attempt of his government, but the truth is Dr. Abacha was fighting to change the current fraudulent 1995 TPLF/OLF transitional pseudo-constitution. In addition, the following three generals are assassinated. These are the Army Chief of Staff Brigadier General Sayar Mekonnen, retired Major General Gazai Abra, and Brigadier General Asaminat Sij, who served as Chief of the Amhara Region Security Forces. Also, two other top government officials, these six the most prominent Ethiopians assassinated in one day by the Abiy Ahmed government, alleging a false coup attempt of Abiy Ahmed's government on June 24, 2019. However, they only have opposed the 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and the Oromo Liberation Front. Additionally, thousands of political prisoners, including Ethiopian known journalist Timrit Negra, are currently in jail oppose Ethiopia's current fraudulent transitional 1995 pseudo-constitution of TPLF and the Oromo Liberation Front. No justice is served to date for any of these most prominent great men who gave their life to Ethiopia. Primarily, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed struggled for his whole life with OLF and TPLF to destroy Ethiopia. Also, currently, his hidden agenda is obvious. He is killing the Tigrayan people to separate them from Ethiopia, because that will give him an open door, and to have an excellent opportunity to proclaim Oromia country, including taking the Ethiopian capital city of Addis Ababa to creating a new country of Oromia, in the sovereign Ethiopian country by changing the lives of millions of Ethiopians people into ashes. Secondly, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed highly depended on the current fraudulent 1995 transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and OLF rebels because they manipulated and deceived the Ethiopian people and the world communities. Thirdly, he tries to implement embedded poisons in the 1995 transitional fraudulent pseudo-constitution unusual and unique features of the Tigray Liberation Front, TPLF, and Oromo Liberation Front destiny to destroy sovereign Ethiopia. They never wrote the current 1995 transitional fraudulent pseudo-constitution to the Ethiopian people's unity, integrity, and sovereignty of Ethiopia. Instead, they wrote for TPLF and OLF for their secession plan and interest to dismantle sovereign Ethiopia. Fourthly, a major crime of 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front invalidity, and its defects, are as follows. 1. 1995 fraudulent transitional pseudo-constitution of TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front is never promulgating to the Ethiopian people to discuss. 2. It is invalid because it was written to TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front cessation interest only, but it has nothing to do with sovereign Ethiopia. 3. No Ethiopian people gave consent except TPLF. 4. No Ethiopian people ratified the 1995 TPLF and Oromo Liberation Constitution. However, TPLF was ratified by themselves alone. We have video proof for witnesses. The Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association has enough video evidence of how TPLF cheated and ratified the current 1995 transitional fraudulent pseudo-constitution by themselves only. 1. How they put their clear message and their purposes on their TPLF and Oromo Liberation Front Constitution of 1995 in the first place on their preamble We the Nations. 2. Article 3, on the Ethiopian flag, a national emblem to reflect the hope of the nations, copying from the Italian 1935 flag fictitious star if Italians succeed to colonize Ethiopia put on the Italian tricolor on their green side. 3. Article 8. States all sovereign power resides in the nations, nationalities, and peoples of Ethiopia. Additionally, Article 8 Number 2 says this: the Constitution is an expression of their sovereignty. That means the TPLF and the Oromo Liberation Front are nations, not Ethiopia. 4. Article 39, Number 1 says, every nation, nationality, and people in Ethiopia has an unconditional right to self-determination, including secession. Additionally, Article 39 Number 4 says the right to self-determination, including secession, of every nation, nationality, and people. Here is our tentative implication proposal after the national referendum for a new constitution. 1. According to the new constitution of Ethiopia, all independent institutions commissioners, including federal court judges, constitutional court judges, commissioners comprising Civil Service Commission, Audit Commission, Election Commission and Human Rights Commission will take their places. 2. The Ethiopian Defense Ministry and Ministry of Information will become an independent institution as soon soon as the national referendum for a new constitution commencement has been done. 3. Police training equally for all 14 provinces. 4. From all 14 provinces, equally pledged national police training completion. 5. Start the presidential race and elect the president through free, fair, and accessible elections according to the new constitution draft one person one vote principle. The greatest mistake of 1991 caused Ethiopia to be seriously sick for 30 years, but it is still not dead yet because of Almighty God's help. Ethiopia will never die as long as its people are alive until one person remains alive, because in 1991 terrible mistake made by an American envoy Mr. Herman Cohen, Assistant Secretary for African Affairs. In 1991, Mr. Herman Cohen betrayed the Ethiopian people and handed over the power to EPLF, TPLF, and OLF rebels without a constitution-making right. As a result, the Ethiopian people remain under the rebel slavery system, suffering from ethnic federalism imposed by force upon people without consent and ratification under the TPLF approval only. Therefore, the Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association would strongly remind the U.S. government, the Security Council, and Mr. Obasanjo not to repeat a similar mistake done in 1991 by the U.S. envoy Mr. Herman Cohen. What was the greatest mistake that Mr. Herman Cohen had made in 1991? 1. Mr. Herman Cohen made a dialogue with three separatist groups: EPLF, TPLF, and OLF. He betrayed most Ethiopian people who were expecting a deal for peace, security, unity, and integrity of Ethiopia. 2. Mr. Herman Cohen facilitated the state formation of Eritrea. He failed to protect the legal rights of Ethiopia, without proper demarcation of disputed borders between Ethiopia and the new Eritrea based on applicable international law and UN resolutions like Resolution 390V of the United Nations. 3. Mr. Herman Cohen never stops the rebels group, especially TPLF, from implementing ethnic federalism based on language in this world's 21st century inhuman kind of constitution. Placed borders, a source of conflict and genocide, within a sovereign country, the AU and UN founding member state, Ethiopia. What outcomes of the 1991 mistake viaduct U.S. envoy Mr. Herman Cohen in Ethiopia? 1. Created ethnic federalism in Ethiopia, produced about 6 million lives lost in 30 years, and worsened very fast into catastrophic implications. 2. Allowed the Ethiopians to deprive of economic, political, and human rights and exposed to genocide and crime against humanity. 3. TPLF and OLF deliberately alienated the majority of Ethiopians from each other. Also, TPLF and OLF have been reporting for 30 years to ICCPR, hidden embodying 9 sovereign member states on Article 47 in 1995 fraudulent pseudo-constitution of TPLF and OLF in the sovereign state of Ethiopia. Furthermore, TPLF has been manipulating Article 47 to the United Nations, and the Ethiopian people using the English language differently with Ethiopian national language resembling regional states in sovereign Ethiopia, undermining the United Nations Security Council power. These existing main problems in Ethiopia are creating apartheid borders or domestic boundaries in one sovereign nation. However, Ethiopia has been undivided land for more than 3,000 years, and domestic boundaries are illegal because they are sources of conflict and genocide. We do not believe that an ordinary Tigrayan or ordinary Oromo hates an ordinary Amhara or any other ethnicity to commit such horrible crime. Nevertheless, it is only a plan to be enabled and sponsored by EPLF, TPLF and OLF, the government. The main reason for killing and eradicating Amhara is to destroy Ethiopia and the Orthodox Church, since EPLF, TPLF and OLF firmly believe that destroying Amhara and the Orthodox Church as destroying Ethiopia and remove their primary obstacle to their secession plan. Before the TPLF and OLF implanted the 1995 fraudulent pseudo-constitution in Ethiopian politics, Ethiopians have lived together in harmony, and there were no such crimes. There were some conflicts around their administrative boundaries, primarily over grazing lands, which local seniors resolved. However, it is almost impossible to secede Tigray and Oromia from Ethiopia for the following reasons. 1. They have the same common historical tradition. 2. They have the same racial or ethnic identity. 3. They have the same cultural homogeneity. 4. They have the same national, linguistic unity. 5. they have the same religious or ideological beliefs. 6. They have the same geographic undivided universal land as one nation. 7. They have the same common economic conditions. 8. They have the same typical phenotype and genotype. This non-exclusive list of criteria provides objective ways to categorize the Ethiopian people in their one sovereign nation. For example, there is no single genetic difference in DNA among the Ethiopian people. Also, no international genetic laboratory can differentiate the supermajority of Ethiopian people genotype, phenotype, mitochondria, and haploid type in this world because we, the Ethiopian people, lived peacefully together before the 1995 fraudulent pseudo-constitution of TPLF/OLF existed in Ethiopia for more than 3,000-year history on the same sovereign nation in one universal land with no different domestic boundary demarcation. Dear Excellencies, finally, we sincerely request your actions to stop the war in Ethiopia and making EPLF/TPLF and OLF accountable for their crime of fraud and embezzlement on a sovereign Ethiopia which is a UN member since 1923 and forever, untold barbaric genocide, war crime, gang rape, crime against humanity, and human disappearance, tortures and other crimes on Ethiopians. The Ethiopian people are deprived of their human rights in the 21st century. This has to end, and we believe the prime function of UN and all peace-loving institutions is to protect the basic rights of all humanity. Ethiopia has delivered its share as UN member to preserve peace in many African countries and displayed successful alliance with UN and the United States of America. We the Ethiopian people strongly requesting to Congress and President Biden to pass H.R. 6600 and implement it to ensure effective democracy system in Ethiopia. May God bless Ethiopia, the United States of America, the United Nations, all peace-loving institutions, and the international communities for furthering peace, unity, kindness, sharing, and truth are honorable. Yours respectfully. Ethiopian Survival and Salvation Association, ESSA, Committee. Mekonnen Doyamo, Chairperson of ESSA. Tefera Demis, Vice Chairperson of ESSA. Dr. Debra Negash, Medical Advisor and Community Organizer. Dr. Aragaheg Nagadu, Chairman of Moorish Amhara Association. Dr. Abiy Asefa, Chairperson of Mogd Amhara Association. Dr. Daniel Tefera, Senior Economic Advisor of ESSA. Engineer Mesfin Yilma, Community Organizer. Aster Jesses, Community Organizer. Biru Kibas, Media Director. Contact 61270228899. Email doyamo1@gmail.com. CC. Honorable Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. The Congressional Hearing on Conflict in Ethiopia Committee. Honorable Representative Gregory Meeks, Chairperson of Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Representative Michael McCall, Ranking Member, Foreign Affairs Committee. Honorable Chris Smith, U.S. Congressman and distinguished members of House Foreign Relations Committee. Honorable Representative Karen Bass, California, Ranking Member of African Affairs, Global Health, Global Human Right. Honorable Representative Chris Smith, Ranking Member. Honorable Representative Scott Perry, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Darrell Issa, California. Honorable Representative David Cicilline, Rhode Island. Honorable Representative Adam Daniel Kinzinger, Illinois. Honorable Representative Dina Titus, Nevada. Honorable Representative Tim Burchett, Tennessee. Honorable Representative Susan Wild, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Gregory Stube, Pennsylvania. Honorable Representative Dean Phillip, Minnesota. Honorable Representative August Pfluger, Texas, Ranking Member Subcommittee Europe, Energy and Environment. Honorable Representative Andy Levin, Michigan, Asia-Pacific Relations. Honorable Representative Joaquin Castro, Texas, International Development, International Organization, and Global Social Impact Subcommittee. Honorable Ronnie Jackson, Global Health and Human Rights Committee. Honorable Representative Ihan Omar, Minnesota, Vice Chair, African Affairs, Global Health and Global Human Right. Honorable Representative Young Kim, Asia-Pacific Non-Proliferation. Honorable Representative Tom Malinowski, New Jersey. Honorable Representative Andy Kim, New Jersey. Honorable Representative Sarah Jacobs, California, Vice Chair, International Development. Honorable Representative Juan Vargas, California, Vice Chair of International Western Hemisphere. Civilian Security, Migration and Economic Policy U.S. Senate. Honorable Senator Menendez, Chairman. Honorable Senator Rich, Ranking Member. Honorable Senator Kitotrend. Honorable Ambassador Robert Godek, Acting Assistant Secretary for Bureau of African Affairs for U.S. Department of State. Honorable Ms. Sarah Charles, USAID's Assistant to Administrator for the Bureau of Humanitarian Affairs. Honorable Mrs. Samantha Power, Administrator, U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. Honorable Robert O'Neill, Senior Desk Officer, Horn of Africa Office of East African Affairs, U.S. Agency for International Development.